dark side.
Okay. The one we got was light side, which
Okay.
they're Oreos, so they don't taste different. Just one is red and one is blue,
Yeah.
like the cream on the inside.
Which, whatever, they're fine. I thought that they were doing something because, like, they released, what was it, last month or the month before was the Sour Patch ones.
Right, which
Which
were
I told my wife, I was like, I feel that they're good,
right.
but I can only eat like two, maybe three of them before I'm like, okay, that's enough.
So like
Kind of.
normally when I eat Oreos, I'll grab two of them. I'll have them like after lunch. I'll grab two of them. I'll eat them and be like, damn, those were good. I shouldn't have more because then I'll just be like, I'll just have two more, and then I'll have two more, and then I'm like
Yeah.
600 pounds. With those, like, I had the first Sour Patch Kid Oreo, and I'm like, these are disgusting. They taste like Sour Patch Kids, but also like poison.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I spent money on them, so I'm not going to let them go to waste. So, like, the next day I had them, I'm like, damn, those are actually pretty... No, they can't be good. No, that's
It's
not...
almost like a weird acquired taste for them.
They can't be good. And by the end of the package, I was like, I'm sad to see these go. Those are pretty good. Not buying them again, though, because they're kind of poison. But actually not that bad.
But then the one before those were the Rocket Oreos, and those were the ones that had the Pop Rocks in them.
I liked those.
And that's the weird thing, because
hey,
they were fine. It was an interesting sensation.
Yep.
But as I was eating these and realizing that they were just Oreos that have like the red and blue, filling in them, I was like, man, sure wish these had Pop Rocks in them.
Right. Well, it's funny because my wife ate one and she's like, there are Pop Rocks in these. And I was like, why would they put Pop Rocks in these? So I ate one and I was like, I don't think those are Pop Rocks, but there's something in there. And then the box said they're Kyber inspired sugar crystals. And I was like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
You didn't need them because Oreos are great by themselves. But,
Yep.
No, they're just like a sugar, like a small piece of sugar in them.
Yeah, I noticed that when I bit one in half, there was like a little bit of white on top. And I just figured that was some of the regular white filling that they had as well to help glue the cookie together or something.
Right.
But
they're okay.
They're fine.
Just Oreos.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Oreos, they all have like the different prints on the top, where it's like the dark side ones have, like Vader, Boba Fett, Jabba the Hutt. I had a Kylo Ren one. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming, the light side one obviously would probably have like Luke and Yoda.
So it has Luke, Yoda, it has Han, but my wife and I can't tell the difference between Han and Luke. Like, on the small Oreo on the top, they just
do they have a lightsaber?
None of them really do, which is the hard part.
Okay.
How hard wavy is the hair?
That's right.
Here is your solution. Pour milk onto the top of the Oreo.
Oh, there you go.
I'm assuming you're aware of this.
No.
Is this the fun thing?
If you, on an Oreo, it's got the imprint on it. If you pour a little bit of milk into it, it puts the milk as the background, and it makes the thing stand out.
Maybe I'll have to try that, because it's sort of like, I don't know, it's one of these two white dudes from Star Wars. I kind of can't tell. I'm not really sure. I'll have to try that.
My wife had a Jabba the Hutt one. She's like, I don't know what this is. It's some alien. And it even took me a moment to look. Yeah, it took me a moment to look at it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. Man.
But I mean, it's fun. I enjoy that Oreo is trying to release something new. I hope that they release a kind of new flavor next week. It works perfect for our podcast. I hope it's some weird off-the-cuff flavor where someone's like, why the hell would you put that in an Oreo?
Right.
And then we eat it, and we're like, actually, it's not as bad as you would think.
The only one that
It's never as bad as you think, unless it's...
Well...
Unless it's, like the hot soda that I drank.
Oh, well, yeah, those are... crafted
but those
for
were made
pain.
To be.
Yeah. The only one Oreo that I've been disappointed in recently, I thought it would be a slam dunk, is the churros Oreo. I didn't think it tasted very good.
I think it just tasted like brown sugar Oreo.
Right. It wasn't even like cinnamony enough. Like, it just kind of... It wasn't bad, but it was sort of like, you got a slam dunk with these on paper for sure. And I bit into it and I was like, no, I don't think so.
Don't know what you're doing here.
Right, like I'll just have, but I do have to say the ones that I always get, I think the S tier 10 out of 10 are the dark chocolate Oreos. They're just the kind of regular
Get the
ones.
fuck away from me with dark chocolate.
They're
I
so
fucking
good.
hate dark chocolate.
Here's the thing. Doesn't taste bitter like dark chocolate does, because that's what I was sort of expecting.
Sure.
It tastes richer for some reason, which is like, I don't know why you call it dark chocolate, because dark chocolate
So
is
it tastes
usually
like
just
regular
bitter.
chocolate.
Yeah, it tastes like a richer regular chocolate, probably like a chocolate we don't get here in the U.S. because we're brain poisoned by something.
So I wonder if it's like the lowest cocoa percentage you could have for it to be considered dark.
0.05%.
Yeah.
The thing you are brainwashed by is your lowest standards for food.
And corn syrup.
You say the lowest
see above.
standards. However, I don't see other countries putting chili over a Klondike bar, okay?
That's right. They're cowards.
Yeah.
Listen. Scotland deep fried a Snickers bar, and they're still not as terrible as you.
It's true.
I mean, we deep fry those in Oreos and Twinkies.
I think the San Diego Fair
Scotland
is going
started
on,
that one.
which has the world famous deep fry anything stand.
Mhm.
And the thing they unveiled a couple of years ago was the deep fried Kool-Aid, which
I hear that is
was
actually
pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was pretty good. But
Just
like, they're always
Sleep
like,
crazy food to us. We know what we're
Yeah.
doing.
we know how to kill
No, you
ourselves.
don't.
slowly.
You don't even know what food is.
That's right.
Yeah, we do.
That's why we're
That's what
winning,
makes it so
and
great.
we have
Yeah.
So
no
like,
arteries
you
that are
cannot,
open.
You cannot serve the bread that you get in Subway here in Europe because it's not considered bread in Europe.
I
That
know.
seems like a profiling issue with you people.
It's just a marketing problem. You can eat it, and you can also wash your dishes with it. I don't see what the problem is. It's multi-use in this troubled economy. How can we not have a twofer?
Yeah, it's not our fault that our government cheese is so close to plastic that you can store other foods in it as well.
Yeah, I see. We're problem solvers.
It's the future, Moon.
We also die at 45 of cholesterol-related deaths, but
Yeah.
we made a lot of money for stakeholders or shareholders on the way. And isn't that what's important? Wait, what? I blacked out for a second. All right, are you guys ready?
That's weird. There's a buzzing going on right now.
There's a little buzzing, and I need to go get McDonald's all of
Literally,
a sudden. It's
just
weird.
just a quick Google gave me 5 different examples of things that Americans put in their food that is banned in the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah. Stop us.
Please stop us.
For
I'm begging
reasons,
you.
it's even better. For reasons such as genotoxic, carcinogen,
That sounds bad.
It's all
a
natural
hormone
so far.
disruptor,
Mm.
neurological symptoms.
I saw that in Lucy.
Fuck you.
All right, you guys ready to get started?
I mean, if cancer can infinitely grow, why can't we use cancer to grow crops? I mean, come on. It's just the
Hey
next
man,
step.
slam dunk. Let's do it. Who has VC money for us?
All right.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, let's stop this.
I think we've crossed the line of stupidity
Yeah.
now.
All right. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hello.
And the Nimp.
Hello.
Quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
I especially mention that because we are deep into recording season 30, as we talked about last week, and we just recorded our first episode, which turned out to be an incredible 5-star runtime. So if you want to get that 2 months early, get that over there, over on the site. $5.
If you're watching us live, that's why we're late.
That's why we're late and tired. Normally, we're just tired. If you want to get all that stuff, $5 tier is the recommended one. That's $5 per month, not per episode or per week. You also get early access to We Rogue Like It. You get exclusive access as the $5 tier to Wayward Sons, which is the supernatural TV show watchcast that Moon and Nimp are undertaking. You also get exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting, so you can check that out between seasons. And you get exclusive access to the Outcast, which is the episode where we're talking about everything else in our lives that's going on except for video games, you'll be surprised. This week we talk about food. I know it's a shock. Who could have seen it coming?
We talked about books first.
That's true.
And then we talked about food.
Yeah, we ate our veggies first, and then we had our dessert. So get all of that and more over at patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
All right, let's get into the good stuff. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
I had a questionable week this week.
Yeah.
Social media followers will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I will have for the foreseeable future. So expect my talking about games to be reduced to a game if I'm lucky.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, the game I'm talking about this week is Starfield. Because I don't want to talk about the Crossword game I have on my phone. Actually, I should mention what that's called.
Give it a shout out.
Yeah, because it's an incredible, it's a really cool crossword. No, close. I need to open the app info, please. It's literally just called Crossword on the Google Play Store.
Okay.
Would you like to play a game?
Yes. Well, I started this particular app 2 months ago, and it's the usual stuff. It's riddled with ads and everything like that. But you can pay a one-time fee to get rid of the ads. And it was $20. It was $21. And before you say, "Oh, it seems like a lot for getting rid of the ads, not $1," yeah. So.
Oh, I use that same one. I use the same one on iOS. What is this called?
It literally has pages and
it has
pages,
hundreds and thousands
and pages.
of crossword puzzles.
Yeah,
Crossword.
It's ridiculous.
Crossword by Redstone Games.
Yes, and so I paid the $21. It has each one of those. So if you're watching the live stream, you just saw me scroll through 15 to 20 pages of tiles, and inside each of those tiles is 10 crossword puzzles.
Yep.
Okay.
So there is a lot of puzzles in there, and on top of that, it also has a quick link. So if you're stuck on something, you can just hit a button, and it will go to a crossword site and give you the answer if you need it.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yes, I have a history of crosswords as someone who's in this country from a different country. I use them as a way to tell me how integrated I am into society over here. Because if you guys were to go on vacation to England and do a crossword in England, you might know half of the answers.
Right.
Because a lot of the questions are always based on where the crosswords are from.
Right.
If I do a crossword here in the States, I would probably still get half of them. So,
but what I'm saying is a lot of them will be cultural touchstones.
Yeah.
One of the ones I got here was D-Day Commander. And it was 3 letters, and I was like, well, the only D-Day commander I know is the commander who commanded the Allied forces, who was a British officer. He had his name is 5 letters, so it can't be him. So what is it? It's Ike. Ike as in Ike Eisenhower.
I thought you were going to say the only commander I know is Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
No, I'm not that witty today, unfortunately. But it's great. It's different size puzzles. It gives you hints. It tells you you can choose whether to tell you when the problem when the answers are wrong. It does a cool little trill noise whenever you get a solution right, so that you know you've got it right. And it follows all the usual crossword rules, such as, hey, if there's a question, this is one that took me forever to pick up. If you're new to crosswords and you don't know this, if you ever see a question that has a question mark at the end in the clue, it is sarcastic. You have to keep in mind that is a sarcastic answer to the question.
Yeah, it's trying to trick you.
Yes, so it will be a left field kind of thing rather than what you might expect it to be.
Right.
But I've literally been chewing through it. I think I've only completed 3 blocks now. But I did a couple of mediums. I'm doing my first hard one now, which is volume 128, apparently.
Yeah.
In game. So that should give you some idea. But yeah, it was $21 for ad-free version, which was incredible an incredible value to me. So
yeah, whenever I'm looking to do puzzles, I do that app because it's on iOS as well, and I do Puzzmo. Puzzmo has a daily crossword that's a little bit more pop culture and a little bit more difficult, which I kind of like.
I'm still not in Puzzmo, unfortunately.
I was just seeing how it gives you like your time for how long it took you to do that.
100%.
Like, oh man, I can't wait for it to be like, you've been on this one for like 36 hours now.
That's right. Leave me alone.
So the good news is it doesn't track the time that you're not in the app. It only tracks like actual time while you're using it. So I think my highest one so far is like 37 minutes, and that was like my first hard one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bunch of themed ones that they do too, which I really like, where it just like takes one theme. One was colors, and it switches colors around. So like I think one of my clues was like orange is the new black, but you had to flip the colors, so it was black is the new orange was the actual answer to it.
Oh, sure.
And it was just like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing here. And it was a bunch of questions, like 5 or 6 of the answers in there are all related to colors, and then you have to flip the colors around.
It's a cool
like
app.
black and blue being hurt, and it was actually blue and black, so on and so forth. That has been the thing I've spent most of my time on, because that is what I use when I'm on my lunch at work.
Oh, right.
Other than that, the only other thing I've been playing is Starfield. So I'm at the point where I know the thing. I know the crux of the story.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I think it would be a much more compelling story if this was a 10-hour game.
Yeah.
It would... If this was a 10-hour game, I would be like way deep into like my 20th or 30th New Game Plus.
Right.
Because I want to see what that does. And I have Googled and seen some of the things that it does.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that nothing... So, Starfield, ironically, ran into the exact same issue that No Man's Sky has. Which is, yeah, you can start a New Game Plus, but the only thing you really get to keep is you, essentially. So all those bases you built, all that time you spent, all those people you spoke to, none of that matters anymore. Because... Can I spoil Starfield?
Yeah, we're far enough away. Spoiler alert.
And there's been long enough for people to transition out of this if they want to skip. All right, go for it.
Yeah. If you care, forward until you get to NIM section, because this is the only thing I'm talking about today. The whole thesis of the game is that the artifacts that you are collecting allow you to access this thing called Unity. The Unity is a multiversal doorway that lets you jump to new multiverses, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So when you go to New Game Plus, you start the game again, but you start the game again as a Starborn.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So when you hop from one universe to the next, that is what makes you Starborn.
Gotcha.
And then then you can go through the rigmarole of collecting the artifacts again, and then jumping to a new universe, and a New Game Plus Plus, and then a new universe, and New Game Plus Plus Plus.
I will say you do keep the Starborn skills that you unlock, and it's not possible for you to unlock all of them in a single run.
Oh, okay.
So you have to keep new gaming to get different artifacts, and then to upgrade the ones that you currently have while getting new ones. So there is that too, and they do give you a guardianship, which also increases its stats every time you new game,
and it changes along with the weapon.
Yeah,
I think you get the armor, you get a weapon, and you get the ship essentially from the Starborn, which you take through into your new game.
And I think if I'm remembering correctly, for you to max out the ship, you have to be on like New Game 8 or 9 or something, and then you've got a maxed out guardianship. But you don't get a weapon, which is stupid.
So what I will say is I did Google it, and some of the variations that can happen are really cool. So, for example, there is you can get to a New Game Plus. So this is all based around you getting to New Game Plus, starting the game again, and then making it to Constellation. That's where most of the changes seem to take place, is around Constellation. You can get there and everybody is dead except for Vasco.
Oh, wow.
You can get there and everybody is kids.
Okay.
You can get there and Andreja has wiped everybody out because she went on the Great Serpent's path.
Oh, wow.
You can get there and Cora Ko is grown up and a starborn.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Those are all cool potentialities.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one is that you can get there and meet you.
That's great. But, like, so...
In a 10-hour game, this would be great.
Because, like, so here's the thing. The reason why Chrono Trigger is so beloved is because your first playthrough of Chrono Trigger is at most 20 hours, and then you're spending, like, a couple of hours all told for the other endings where you're kind of moving faster through the rest of that game.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how cool this game would be, where it's like, yeah, your first playthrough is going to be long, but then you get to see all these potential different universes on future ones, but
Dude,
each run is going to be 10 hours.
There's one where Sarah Morgan is a plant.
That's great.
And I will say, too... Moon, did you actually do New Game Plus, or
no?
So when you do New Game Plus,
I'm at the final mission right now.
Oh, okay.
Before I do the final mission, I have to go explore 100 planets, get 500 raw materials,
get the rest of your achievements
10
and stuff.
ships.
So when you do New Game Plus, you have an option right at the beginning that says, do you want to do the story path, or do you just want to be free and do whatever?
Oh, okay.
And so you don't have to read. You could potentially make it shorter, but the problem is
basically just gives you the artifact hunts. It's like just go get the artifacts.
Oh, okay.
The problem that I ran into is that in my first New Game Plus run, I am at the end of the game. All I have is a guardianship, and it's kind of garbage. And I'm at that fight where you have to fight 2 guardians before you can continue on to progress. And I can't do it because this ship is so weak.
Oh, bummer.
So, and if that was kind of at the point where it's like, okay, I could at this point, because you keep all your skills and stuff too as well. Like your character doesn't change at all. It's just the equipment and everything else not tied to you. But so I could go back and build a ship and make one that's better that I could, but I didn't want to invest all of that time doing it just so that I could continue on and refresh everything again.
Yeah, my 46-hour playtime in New Game 1 to build the perfect ship for me, which, by the way, it still is perfect. The Hellfire rules. All of that is for naught, essentially.
Right.
Like, if I choose to go into New Game Plus, it wipes everything out.
Yeah.
Wipes all of that decisions out. I mean, in a theoretical thing, I like the fact that I'm having discussions with the Emissary and the Hunter. I don't know if you ran into them, Boston.
No, I don't think I made it that far.
They're basically the 2 main Starborns. One of them is the one who harasses you outside of a place, and the Hunter is the one who tries to kill you a lot.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much
and
every
they
time.
are essentially multiversal versions of people you have already met in the game. So they are coming into your universe from being in a different universe and making their arguments to you. And like, it's really cool conceptually, but I'm not going to sit here and do another 60 hours every time I want to do a New Game Plus. If this was a 10-hour linear game, it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's not a 10-hour linear
or
game.
If it's
it is a Bethesda game.
Or if it's the only game you're going to play for the next 5 years. Like, that's the other option.
Even if they had just done something as simple as, hey, you can keep any of the ships that you have made. Or keep at least one of them. Okay, fine. Like, that's one less thing I have to worry about.
That's the thing they should have learned from No Man's Sky, because I'm pretty sure in No Man's Sky, when you do that jump, you take the ship that you're in and the contents of the ship you're in to the New Game Plus.
Right, you go to the next galaxy with all your stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's what they should have taken it in that direction. Like I've built the armorillery or whatever it is. I'm building that on my ship, so it should be that it takes my ship with it to the next thing, but it doesn't. It's just you, and it like I'm having very interesting conversations with the remaining Constellation members. Spoiler alert, about that whole thing about will I be me? Let me tell you. I had the commitment ceremony with Andreja, which was a really interesting commitment ceremony based on two different people of different faiths deciding to be together forever. Minor spoiler, I got a goat's head with a knife built into it.
That sounds about right.
And part of that whole thing was fantastic, but then real quickly after that, I ended up having a different conversation with Andreja about, well, what happens? Do we both go through the rift? Does one person go through the rift? Like, what's the deal? But the problem is I'm the only person who's reacting to the artifacts. So I'm the one who's seeing the visions. And because I'm the one who's seeing the visions, I can become Starborn. Nobody else sees the visions, so nobody else can. Well, there is one other person who sees the visions, but that's a spoiler. Wait, I'm spoiling it already. The emissary is Barrett. From a different universe.
Interesting.
Because he mentions he sees the visions too when he picks them up, but nobody else does. Everybody thought he was joking about it. Yeah, so the emissary is Barrett from a different universe. The hunter is somebody else, who I will not mention because that's a good reveal. But like the concept behind it, the thought behind it, the idea behind this whole system is great. If it's not a 109 hours and 50-minute game that I have put into it so far, where I've built bases and refinery plants and all this kind of stuff in the universe I'm in,
right?
To lose it all when I go to the next universe.
Yeah, because those things are at odds because you're investing in your playthrough and in the world and building stuff, which, to be fair, you do in No Man's Sky, but in No Man's Sky you can teleport between universes, so you can say, here's my home base in Euclid.
Can you do that now? Because you couldn't do that when I did it.
You can, yeah, because you can say like, oh, I moved from Euclid to the next galaxy. You can always go back to Euclid to go to your base or your
so at least they learn from it.
Exactly.
Like, they learned that people had an issue with it.
Because all you had to do was build a beacon. Like I have a beacon on my first original base in No Man's Sky, and that's once I get my ship, that's the first thing I do is I try to build a portal so I can jump back, so I'm not worrying about trying to get all the supplies because all the supplies are on my first base.
Because I think,
and that's what made it a little easier. Sorry, Boston.
No, that's okay. I think they saw the same thing that you're seeing with Starfield Moon, which is, why would
people also complained about it with that game?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, why would you invest your time in anything that isn't your core character stuff? Like, why would I build a base in No Man's Sky when I'm just... The point is, now there's a storyline, so there's more of a point over there. But like, No Man's Sky, one of the larger activities you can do is just get to the center of the universe, and then you go to another galaxy. Like, why would you invest in any of this stuff if I'm just going to be leaving it behind? Same here with Starfield. Like, why would I do any of this if it's not going to mean anything?
Yeah.
And not in the original cool, story standpoint.
And the original thing with No Man's Sky 2 was it was just a way to buff your health, where you would get, what was it, like a star crystal or something, and that would add more health to your character, and every time you did that you would get more health and stuff like that. I haven't beaten the galaxy in a while, so I don't know. I don't know if it's changed, but
yeah, I'm not sure, but
yeah, this is why I had brought up too when I had first beaten the game, like, this is pretty much a flashier one-to-one version of No Man's Sky, which isn't an issue. It's a good concept, but it's just, like we're all bringing up, there's no real incentive to beat the game once you find out that you lose everything.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean, the story wise, it's fine. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm not in a great headspace like right now. Right now, I just want to get this thing done. So, like, of course, I have the grindiest of grindy achievements to do.
Right.
Which, like, there is 4 people you can romance in this, I believe. Sarah, Sam, Barrett, and Andreja, which feels like a waste. There should be so much more.
Yeah.
But, like, the only other things I've got left to do now, like, I've done the Quantum Essence one. I figured out how to get that stuff. Now that I know, it's really easy to do if you go after some of the skills. The Starborn skills that you get. They're really great. Now I've got to do, like, 10 ships, 20 magazines, 300 creatures. My biggest pain in the backside, 500 organic resources.
Oof.
Like,
that's a lot.
I just want to do all of these so I can just get the final mission done and just be like, thanks, see ya, bye-bye. Like,
right.
Give me my 100 gigs back, please.
Right.
And ideally give me back the 110 hours I've spent playing this game.
Right.
It's not that it's terrible, it's just very mediocre.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of cool ideas. Like, I like how the ships look and the controls and everything, but...
And the concept of the multiverse is great.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It's just like we've always said. It's a fine, normal game. That's the most non-offensive thing we've ever played.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. Starfield. It's a game, I guess. Ugh. Anyway, that's all I've been playing. Nimp, take it away.
All right. So this week, I'm only going to talk about 3 games. My first one's going to be Pacific Drive. I have hit a point where, well, first off, I found that there is a brightness setting. And so I adjusted that thing because I am not
that baby all the way up.
I did at first, and then everything was too bright. So I think I have it down to like 1.2, 1.3 or something like that, and everything looks normal. Because I'm not kidding. Walking in my garage, how it is in the video that you have on the feed right now, it was darker than that. Like if I hit a pocket of a shadow, I couldn't see anything. It was pitch black.
Right.
So once I got the brightness up a little bit higher, everything looked normal. Like, cool. Now I can see at nighttime. Now I don't care that it's 1 o'clock in the morning, because even with the flashlight that I had, it was basically, I could only see what I was illuminating. Anything outside of that cone of light, it might as well have not existed.
Right.
So that's how bad it was. But once I did that, I have pretty much built everything that I need that requires stable energy. I think there's only a handful of things that I can still build right now before I need to start working with unstable and corrupted energy. Story-wise, I'm at the point where I've already tested the vehicle in the main big map with the huge anomaly in the middle where you have to shoot the car through it. That screwed me up because I was going so fast that when they put the portal at the end, it loaded, I slammed on the brakes, and still slammed head first into the garage. Like, I was going so fast.
Thanks, game.
Yeah, it's like, cool, now I got all this stuff to repair.
Right.
But all of my panels and all of my doors are the insulated ones.
Oh, nice.
So now it looks even more homebrewed, which is awesome.
Right.
I've got the side gas tank, or the outside holder gas tank. I've got the gas tank in the back seat. Gas hasn't been an issue up to this point. I'm just making sure it doesn't become an issue at some point. But now that I have all of this fuel, I'm like, okay, cool. I need to start working on battery stuff.
Yeah, that one in the back seat I found was huge. Like the amount of fuel it can hold is basically double the amount you had in your tank before. It's a ton.
And the cool thing is, too, I don't have to pick between the one that's side mounted on the outside and the one that's in the back seat. I don't have to fuel up all 3, including the main tank. I just pick one and fuel it up, and it fuels up all 3 systems.
Yeah, it's really smart.
But before I did that, though, I did originally build the add-on that I found out goes in the back seat that automatically engages your parking brake when you sit down in the seat, and you know, it engages and disengages as you sit down and get out and all that. Because I was like, okay, that I didn't have an issue with shifting, but I'm like, oh, okay, that could be useful. And I found a lot of cases where it wasn't useful. Like, hey, I'm on a slight incline and my car is rolling until I finally get out of the vehicle, kind of thing.
Right.
So it's starting to cause more issues than it was worth, especially holding up that back seat slot.
Oh yeah.
So I pulled that out and then scrapped it. I was like, okay, it was cool to check out, but so I now have the wind turbine. That's back there next to my fuel can. I'm going to give that a go. I haven't done a run with it since I built it yet, but I wanted to check that out. I built the lightning rod, which I had planned on putting on my top rack until I realized that, oh no, this is only a side rack thing. And I'm not getting rid of my 2 outside storage containers because I don't have a bigger trunk yet, because that requires, I think, unstable energy.
Right.
And I haven't gotten to that source yet. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just going to, how it is now is how it's going to be until I start getting new energy. But I am now at the point where I'm supposed to be going to the map again that has the big anomaly in it, and I'm supposed to do a junction off of that map into another area to continue the story.
Oh, right.
And I attempted to do it last time, but I had such a good run that I'm like, I have all... Like, I just need more stable energy. That's all I've been collecting. And I think I had, like, 6 units of stable energy. I had, like, my trunk and my side containers were completely filled with resources. And I'm like, I'm not going to jump to another location and possibly screw all of this up.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm just going to head back. And I did that, cashed everything in, built in a bunch of stuff. And was like, okay, cool. I'm going to do a couple more runs so I can build a few more things. And that is when I discovered the miracle of happy bunnies.
Happy bunnies are great.
Yes, because it freaked me out the first time one ran into my car. It's like, oh crap, it's one of the bunny things. Right. I'm like, why is this one green?
Why is my whole car green?
Yeah, so before I shocked it off, I got out, scanned it. I was like, oh, this actually heals my vehicle.
Yep.
Cool. So I kept it on there and then found out that if it's attached to your vehicle and later on you, like, your vehicle gets damaged, the bunny will keep healing your vehicle.
Yep.
So I happened to be in the big map when I discovered that. I'm like, cool.
Ooh, all right.
There was 3 more that were roaming around. So I grabbed all 3 of them and shoved them on the top of my car.
Right.
And I was like, okay, either they're going to disappear due to time. I did a lot of signs in this game.
Right.
Either it's going to disappear due to time, or it's going to, like, run out of energy or something and pop off. And it turns out that when they run out of energy, that's when they'll pop off. But if you have more than one, it kind of seems like if one's healing the vehicle, the other one won't engage. So they were popping off one, and then the other one would start healing. And then once that one got done, that one would pop off. And I'm talking, like, I was in this map for, like, a good 30 minutes, like, grabbing stuff. So they lasted me a very long time. I think that first one that was on there I had when I started the map. So as long as you're not just, like, ramming into every single thing that you find, those bunnies can last you a really long time. It's like, cool, that is a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, and they're way easier to use than those hearts you find on the side of the road that you can park nearby and they heal up. Because those seem to be pretty rare.
Yeah. My only complaint about this game, I've only done, like, 2 junction runs so far. And it's already feeling long.
Yes.
And I haven't even got to the point where people complain about the runs being long.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish or hope they would add, like, just a road stop in between junctions at some point. It's like, just a moment where it's like, just here's some pneumatic tubes. You can send crap to your base, and you can save here, and then you can continue when you have a moment.
The 2 biggest complaints that have been leveraged at the developers are performance on PS5 is not great, not terrible, but 60 frames at a lower quality would be great. And then the other one is a save and quit in the middle of a run. Like, it's It's Moon and I play a lot of roguelikes, and there are still a ton of roguelikes that are made now that don't have a save and quit at the beginning, and I am eternally frustrated by that.
It's just a weird option. Like, we're
Right.
all adults. Even you people making these games, you don't have time to do a full run, like
Right.
to just sit there and do a whole run. So I don't know.
It's
I understand
frustrating.
I understand you have your ideal of how you'd want the game to be, but it's like, I wish I had time,
Yeah.
to just sit down and do a full run, but that's not how the cards play out.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
outside of that, though, it's like, it's still fun. I
Yeah.
still love my dumb car and the dumb situations I put myself in with this stupid car.
Yeah.
I like how they confirmed that, what do they call it, a remnant
A
in this
remnant,
game?
yeah.
Yeah, and they just keep talking about how it's like, well, it's the only thing that's going to happen is that you're just going to become more obsessive about it.
That's
I'm
right.
like, more obsessive about it, because I'm already pretty obsessive about it.
It's already my little buddy, so
Yeah, I've got nice last thing to bring up. Like, I have like a little bobblehead of like a woodpecker on my dash now.
nice.
My my shifter has a cactus on top of it that looks oddly enough like a cactar from Final Fantasy.
That's one of my favorite ones, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, and I have paint schemes that I can put on there too, and decals. I just haven't done it yet, because I'm like, I don't know how often I'm going to be switching out, or until I've upgraded into the highest tier or whatever I'm doing. I kind of don't want to waste that stuff if I find a good one that I really like.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm just kind of storing all of it, and it's got its own store spot in the shop. So it's like, I'm just shoving everything in there, and anything that I have that's repeating, I just threw in the thing so I can get chemicals back. But
Oh, sure.
it's a fun game. Yeah, they're onto something really good with this game.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Next game that I'm playing, Spider-Man 2. My kids picked up this.
Wait, hold on. PlayStation 2 Spider-Man 2?
No, PlayStation 5 Spider-Man 2, Insomniac
Okay.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
my
the
kids,
reboot. So the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
is
there
that
you
what they're
go.
calling it?
No.
I mean, it's better than saying 2022 Spider-Man, or whatever
Right.
dumb thing we always have to do now. But my
Marvel
kids got
Spider-Man 2.
My kids got this and the SMT5 for PS5 for me.
Oh,
So
nice.
now I have like the Steelbook back there too that I will get to someday.
Right.
Because my understanding is that the new version also has all the DLC for SMT5, and you have the new path as well as the original.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's a big one.
great. I don't have time for that yet.
Yeah.
But playing this, I am not very far into it, but it feels great playing this game. I really loved the first one, and it's kind of like just playing the first one again. It's just I have more objectives and stuff to do now.
And more of the same good thing.
Yes. And there's been a wide enough gap in time between the two games that I don't feel like, oh god, we're doing this again.
Right. I'm stopping heists again. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact the map is bigger. The city in the last Spider-Man game was big and pretty detailed. This one feels bigger. It feels even more detailed. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a 1-to-1 because it's not. But just the fact that we can now go to Brooklyn and you can cross over the river now instead of looking at the river. The fact that you have new ways of new mobility, like the wingsuit. You've got like the slingshot thing that you can do, which hurls you like halfway across, kind of thing. It's all just like fun stuff that you find and you can do now. I like that you can play as Miles and Peter and just switch them, like the whole GTA 5 thing, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna play as Miles now, and you just switch over. I've already had it happen once where I was playing as Peter. I was doing a random event, and Miles just happened to be in the area and literally swung by and took out a guy that was behind me that was about to attack me.
It's really cool.
And they do like this whole slowdown thing where he was just giving me the peace sign as he was going through, and this guy is just getting slammed into a wall. It's like that's really cool. I like that there's the skill trees. Like Peter and Miles have their own skill tree, and then there's like the shared skill tree. So it's like everything that they've done with this game. I feel like that they've updated it so that you feel like it's a brand new experience and that it just feels better. I am only like 3 hours in. I'm at the point where they're going to do it. They're transferring Scorpion to a new area from the raft.
Oh, okay.
Can only imagine how this is going to go.
What's going to happen?
Comic books need to find a new plot device. I understand there's only
Yeah.
so much you can do, but seriously, it's like, oh yeah, they're going to transfer him. It's like, oh, let me guess, they're going to be underfunded. There's not going to be enough people, and somehow he's going to break out.
Wolverine came back from the dead?
Yeah. I mean, I can't be too hard on them, but I mean, like, come on,
Right.
guys, a little something new. Like, you guys can cross dimensions and stuff. Let's mix it up a little bit more.
Right.
But outside of that,
everything's a multiverse these days.
That's true.
I know, and even that's getting old is the problem.
Right.
So, but yeah, all the humor and stuff is here, and I am definitely looking for. I want to play more of it. Like, I'm already at that point, and I was just thinking of myself too. It's like, man, I really need a new Ratchet and Clank game from Insomniac because I'm kind of at that point where I'm feeling burnt out, and those are usually the games that help bring me back in just because of how dumb and stupid they are.
Yeah.
In a very, very good way. Like,
Right.
what other game do you play where you get the Sheepinator as a primary weapon?
Exactly.
I mean, and I think it's not hitting the same way, but it's got that Insomniac touch of, hey, this is just really fun and dumb to just swing around.
It's
and
just
take
fun
pictures.
to play.
Yeah, it just feels good to move around New York.
Right.
So, looking forward to playing tons more of this.
Clearly, it's not based on real New York.
That's right.
No, I was joking with my wife because I'm like, oh yeah, it feels a lot closer. There's a lot less trash in the streets. So but my last game, and this is, I'm assuming, going to be a good pivot point, is I played Destiny 2 with my son.
Oh my.
Oh no.
Well, I go back and forth with these games anyway, so I have too much time in them to stick with them.
Don't mention the D word in front of him.
I assumed he played.
I did.
Whether I was involved or not.
That's right.
So I did buy my son the Final Shape. I think I brought that up like a week or two ago or whenever it came out.
Mm-hmm.
He went through and beat it by himself, which was fine. Like he wanted to play it. He wanted me to pick it up for him. I was like, yep, here you go. Have at it, kid.
Right.
But then as he had brought up the whole thing with the duos,
sure.
And then listening to you talk about how you and Fayror tried to do what was it, last week or the week before?
Right.
I had sent my son a message, during the podcast just saying, hey, do you want me to pick this back up, to help you get through the duos just as another, just another hired gun, basically.
Right.
He was like, yeah, sure. Because, I enjoy playing with him, and I do enjoy Destiny, but I am at the point where it's like, I need this on like drip feed. Like, I can't have too much Destiny because I'm that kind of burnt out on it, where it's like, I enjoyed everything they've done to this point. I just can't tolerate playing.
You can't go all the way
for hours on end like I used
exactly.
to with all my friends. So he beat the campaign last week or the week before. Throughout this week, he helped me get through the campaign, and we completed that with my character as well.
Nice.
He is currently a 1971 Warlock, and I'm a 1944 Titan.
There you go.
So we're getting there.
Yeah.
From what he was telling me, since we've beaten the campaign, now there's like a couple other events that we need to run through. There's the 12-person event to do, which kind of wraps up. Mission. Yeah, which kind of wraps up everything. And he was telling me he had tried it with a bunch of random people. He's like, it's super crazy.
It's bonkers. Yes.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go through and build up. There's a couple epic. Is it Wepic? I can't remember the weapons.
Oh, exotics.
The gold ones. Exotics.
Yeah.
There's a couple exotic quests that he wants to wrap up that I'm gonna help him with. And the whole end goal is just to help him get through the duo mission.
Right.
So that he can get the thing that he wants. And that's about it. Like it was cool having the recap at the beginning.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you how you liked the kind of short, here's what happened in Destiny over the last little bit.
It was, I think it was the best that Bungie could do.
Yeah.
Because I've been in and out of it. Like, I've played all of the DLC with my son, but I've been in and out of it the entire time for the last couple of years.
You're not playing
now.
every week of every season.
Yeah. Right. So when they had brought up that Amanda Holiday?
Yeah.
Was dead, it took me a moment to be like, who was that?
Right. That sounds real sad. And who was that?
Yeah.
That's
and
the one who used to give you the old storylines.
Right.
Yeah, and then as I'm going through the tower, I'm realizing, hey, this vendor isn't here anymore. And then it clicked. I'm like, oh that was Amanda.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's been a couple changes with the tower and stuff like that as well that I don't remember happening, or I just never played during that time when things had changed.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really cool going through the final shape. It was really cool having like the old tower brought back, because I'm like, yeah, that's the crap that I really remember, because that was the one, like, I platinumed the first game. That was the one that my friends and I went way too hardcore into. Yeah. So like seeing the old war table and the way that the old tower layout was and all of that, I was like, that was really cool to see again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was just like a couple things here and there where it's like, yeah, that sounds really important.
Right.
So like I said, but with me, I think what Bungie did was like the best they could do without having like a very intensive recap.
Right,
of,
like
hey,
an 8-hour video.
Yeah, like I need some, random Jim Bob's YouTube thing of like, hey, this is the 8-hour video that's going to catch you up on everything that happened between 2000 and 2024.
Right.
But yeah, it's fun. The one thing that I still don't like about this game, and it's just me personally, is the physics of this game. Specifically jumping around, and you just the biggest thing that killed me is that there is a lot of up ramps that you're running on, and a lot of areas that are not flat.
Right.
And I would go to jump off a cliff to do like my double or triple jump.
Oh yeah, what happened?
And yeah, the game was still registering, oh, you're touching ground, so I don't have another jump.
Nope.
And so I just
Guardian
fell
down.
like a stone in the canyon. Yeah.
Yep.
And my son was like, geez, you can't even jump anymore? I'm like, shut
Leave me alone. Jumping's hard in this thing.
Yeah. But then the other one that I had to remember is that if you get too much momentum going and you like hit a wall, and then you just like bounce off of it.
Thankfully, that no longer kills you. They changed that, because before it would just kill you. Thankfully, that's not the case anymore.
Well, now it still does, because I bounced too far and just completely whiff on all 4 platforms that are there. So, yeah, and getting used to just the momentum. Like, the momentum's just kind of screwy. Once I was getting that down, it was fine. But it was just
very
remembering...
different.
It's just remembering, it's like, oh, everything has like moon gravity, no matter where I go, kind of thing. I do still have my stupid little go-kart that I used for my Sparrow.
That was really good.
It made me giggle really hard when I remember when we got into the first open area of the new area, and my son's like, yeah, you're going to want to use your Sparrow. And I summon it, and like my big buff beep, beep. Titan is like all crammed in on this tiny little go-kart.
I'm coming.
Yeah, I love this.
So good.
But yeah, it's still fun. It's like I said, I love this game in very, very small quantities.
Yeah,
right
and like
now.
I think it's a very valid way to play this game, and I've said this for a long time, of just like checking out every expansion. New expansion comes out, you buy it, you play it. You maybe play a little bit after that to see what else is, but by the time you start feeling like that itch, either like the itch to get all the way into it, or you're just sort of like, now I'm happy, just dip on out.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah. You're not missing tons. Yeah. And like I said, there's plenty of people who are willing to make recap videos for you. So
yeah.
But yeah, other than that though, it was a lot of fun playing the campaign. I did have with Zavala, the VA.
Yes.
God, what is his name?
Keith David.
Thank you, Keith David. Starting out, you couldn't really have, like, I had to kind of like tune in, like really hard, and then I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm hearing some of the Keith David in there. But outside of that, though, he does a really good job. Like, if no one had said anything to me, or if I hadn't known, I probably would have been a little bit slower on the uptake on that.
Yeah.
But because I did know ahead of time, I did kind of home in on it like as soon as Savala started talking, which, like I said, he does a really good job.
He does,
and it did take a little bit to even differentiate the two, but it was also really cool having Cade back and listening to him talk. I'm like, man, you were so annoying in such a fun way sometimes.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion does a really good job this time too.
Nathan Fillion is. I always love that guy in whatever weird dumb thing he's in.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I've been playing. Did you have anything more for Destiny 2?
Did a bunch of stuff in Destiny 2 this week. Continued the seasonal storyline stuff. Nothing really happened this week, which of course the community is upset about, but I don't really care because I got new stuff to play. Faeror and I did do another attempt at Dual Destiny, which is the two-person mission. I was able to raise my power level up to 2,000. I'm now 2,001. And which means that she was 1995, and we motored right through that first try. So that was...
Okay.
We were like... We were just on the cusp last time. We could have completed it last time, but it was a
ton of effort. And...
Yeah, it was like a little bit too hard going, and now it was still challenging, but it wasn't like, oh, they're doing way too much damage to me. We're not doing enough damage to them, that sort of thing.
How much, I guess, like, puzzling is there in the duos? Because that was something I noticed doing. I don't know if that changed between the last DLC, but there were a ton of puzzles to figure out just trying to do the campaign.
Yeah, there were a lot more puzzles in this campaign, which I think is interesting, because usually it's just sort of like, go through this mission, shoot everything. Ghost is going to hack something, go defend it. There
were a lot of times my son was doing things, and I'm like, what are we doing? And he's like, just... I will do it. You just sit there.
He's like, I got 3 motes.
Like,
I'm dunking into a thing. Don't even worry about it. Yeah. So the crux of Dual Destiny is puzzles, where the two of you are feeding information to each other. Because one person can see something, so one person needs to shoot something else, and it kind of switches roles a couple of times. Or one person can read this thing, but it's different than the thing that the other person is reading, so you kind of have to collaborate with the knowledge you have. So that was a lot of fun. Dual Destiny is really good. I think it's probably my favorite exotic mission they've done, largely because of that, because it's two people that are working in concert with each other the entire time and trying to figure out all the stuff that you can see and that somebody else can't see. And I don't really want to spoil it, but it's kind of that's the core of the issue there. I thought that we actually did it the first time all the way through, which I think I was pretty surprised by, because there is a timer in it, but every time you complete an activity you get more time on the clock. By the time you get to the boss battle, you just have a ton of time on the clock, so it was never really an issue that it was timed.
Is it like roughly an hour to do that, or
half an hour
45 minutes?
Most.
Okay.
It was, but I think it took us a little bit longer because, like Assassin's Creed 1, there are like feathers of light that are all over the Pale Heart. Mm-hmm. There's, I think it's 55 total. There's 6 of them inside of Dual Destiny, which is the only thing. Those are the only ones you can't solo. So she and I were going through. I had like a video on my other monitor. We were going through and being like, and gathering all those feathers as we were going through.
Gotcha.
So it took us a little bit more time than it would otherwise, but I don't think it was much more than half an hour.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a little bit of an ending on it after you beat the final boss. That I think was a fun kind of little bonus thing at the end of that. So we both got our exotic class items, which was great, and I'm glad I did it early enough because, like I said, I think it was last week, now I can get exotic class items to drop from the chests in the Pale Heart. So as I'm doing other things, because I'm working on a whole bunch of triumphs to get the title for the expansion, as I'm doing a bunch of those are requiring me to spend a ton of time in the Pale Heart opening chests and doing Overthrow, that new public thing that's in the Pale Heart. So I'm getting a handful of them as I'm going through, and I'm getting a whole bunch of different rolls, which is really great. Okay. So I like that now that I've done that, I can kind of naturally get them as I'm going through and doing all of the other stuff that I would normally do. So I think that was a cool choice for them to do. I don't have any rolls yet that are exactly what I'm looking for my build. I think I've had 4 drops overall. I had 2 of them that are okay, but nothing that I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is the one for me. So nothing too crazy. After we did that, we did try. So there's like 3 difficulties to the campaign for Final Shape. There's the normal difficulty, which probably most people are going to play. There's the legendary difficulty, which is the one where everything is just kind of more difficult, but the rewards are typically better. I haven't completed that yet, though I need to, because it's part of getting the title. And then there's something new they have called Focus Cooperative, and this is a brand new thing they're doing. There are 3 missions from Final Shape that they have in this mode, and the way they describe it in the game doesn't really make a lot of sense until you get into it. But essentially, it is meant for a fire team of 3 that we learned firsthand, because we just tried to do it with the 2 of us. And it has new mechanics in it, sort of above and beyond what the normal mission would have. So for us, there were additional enemies that we had to defeat to, like, unlock something. Normally in a mission, you like go through, you pick up a thing, throw it into another thing, you keep on moving. This was, you had to beat a whole bunch of additional enemies, then a berserker, this enemy from an old raid, where you and another person have to shoot. One person has to shoot him in the chest, one person has to shoot him in the back at the same time for you to take down their shield and kind of continue to attack them. Those were present in the mission. And then at some point when we were going through, the witness, the main bad guy, was just like, okay, I'm going to give one of you a debuff. When it gets to 10, you die, but your other party members can pull that debuff off of you. So you're kind of juggling this debuff throughout the party. So nothing.
That sounds like the thing. Didn't they do something like that with Crota?
Yeah, very similar to like raid mechanics, which is kind of interesting because it doesn't make it that much more difficult, but it's something a little bit...
one more thing to pay attention to.
Yeah, it's like a little bit more stuff to kind of juggle. And I've heard people say that there's something in one of the missions where like one person can see something, the other 2 people can shoot it, and that sort of thing. So it's kind of neat that they're playing around with, instead of just making the enemies harder, now there's a little bit more of something to do in the additional missions. So there is an exotic weapon to get when you do all 3 of them, which is kind of one of the reasons we were looking at doing it. But I have to find a 3rd for that, because those were pretty spicy with 2 people, even though our power levels were pretty high. So, but yeah, Destiny 2 continues to be great. I don't know how much more I'll talk about it until maybe the episode that we're currently in gets a little bit more exciting, because a lot of it is just going to be run the weekly missions and run the weekly quests and kind of continue to work on triumphs and seasonal challenges and stuff like that. Stuff like that. So, all of that.
Do you know what the hard cap is at for the light level? Is it 2010?
2000.
2000?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anything above and beyond that is going to be artifact power. Like that's how I'm 2001. I have that little bit of power because artifact is like plus 11, plus 15, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm 90% sure it's 2000 if I remember.
I was like, 'cause I thought my son and I had seen someone that was like 2004 or something like that.
Yeah,
we were trying to look it up.
Yeah, there's no real maximum to it with the artifact, but I think the hard cap for pinnacle stuff is 2000, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving on here to next game, Final Fantasy V Forge Out Fiesta. That's clipping along pretty nicely now. I just started World 3 on my run, and I have a blue mage on my party, so like I don't really have a problem clearing this game. Is kind of always the answer. My monk is now starting to kind of show its age at the moment, because once you hit World 3, it's not super useful. But I don't really anticipate having too many problems here for the rest of the run. I just got the airship in World 3, so now I'm going to do all the side stuff at this point, and just start working my way through that. So,
what version are you doing? The newest version?
Yeah, I'm doing Pixel Remaster, because that one's it would be either that or the Game Boy Advance.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah.
Both of those are good. The Super NES version has some beneficial bugs in very specific parties that don't apply to me, and I wouldn't play the PlayStation version if you had
unless you love load times.
And the terrible script in that game. Yeah. Yikes. But yeah, I'm playing the Pixel Remaster. I still really like that version. Plus, I get to play on the couch too. That's a big bonus. Yeah. Next game here, Streets of Rage 4. Bilsifer and I were looking for something to play, and I said, "Hey, I'm real tired, and I would like to play a video game and kind of like shoot the breeze. Let's play Streets of Rage 4." And he had never played a Streets of Rage game, so I said, 4 is really
still on
good.
PS Plus?
It just got on PS Plus.
Yeah.
I thought, boy, Streets of Rage 4 is a really good introduction to the series. Like, you're not going to get some of the references, but that kind of doesn't matter. And we had a blast. I mean, I forgot almost immediately that Friendly Fire is on. And the number of times we accidentally hit each other into like a fire trap or off of the edge of a building or things like that. That was pretty funny. But Street Rage 4 is just really good. Like, I don't have a lot to add onto this other than it's a really great game. The bosses are still pretty difficult in a way that I maybe wasn't always looking forward to. But I don't know, man. This game is... There's not a lot to add here other than if you haven't played Streets of Rage 4, it's real good.
Yeah, just dumb fun.
Yeah, and like that's exactly what I was looking for. Is like, I'm gonna kind of button mash for a while. I'm going to, beat up a bunch of thugs that are all called Carl for some reason, and we're just gonna have a fun time talking and playing a video game. Like, it's pretty great. I didn't pick up the DLC. I think Moon and I were talking about this recently. I thought the DLC was a roguelike, and it looks like it's a survival mode instead. So I haven't picked that up because I think it's still a couple of bucks. And I don't know if a survival mode sounds like what I'm into Streets of Rage 4 for. So, that one's real good. 2 thumbs up on that. Last game I have real quick this week, Citizen Sleeper. I platinumed it. So I got the last 2 endings I needed. A small spoiler warning here, I guess, for the last 2 endings that I had. The last 2 endings I needed for Lem and Mina. Not really a spoiler, because the majority of the endings for the game are you need to make a hard decision. One is, do you leave the eye with X person in Y thing, or do you stay on the eye? This was no different. The one I did first, I'm glad I saved it for the one first. You kind of go through the whole set of missions with Lem and Mina. You don't babysit Mina at all, so you kind of keep them at arm's length the entire time, and then you leave the eye without them on the ship that you built.
That sounds great.
Yeah, the writing in this game is so good that like I didn't feel badly about it, because the writing doesn't make you feel bad. It's just sort of like, that's how things go sometimes.
Yeah, you don't know them well enough to feel bad about leaving them behind.
Like,
but you, as the person who made the choice,
right, as the person playing the game. So the one I saved for the very last, it's called the 3-body problem. It's essentially you get yourself into a position where the 3 of you stay on the eye together, and you essentially start a family, like a found family together. And that ending was really good. I was really pleased with that one overall, because that's kind of, I talked about this before. The storyline that I like in Citizen Sleeper is taking the eye as your new home and trying to surround yourself with friends and family and making a life for yourself and kind of making it the best place it can be. And I thought that was kind of the ultimate thing there. If you found this family that you're happy with and you're kind of making a new life together. So I thought that was a cool way of kind of wrapping up my playthrough for that. Also was really surprised. Most of the trophies in that game are very common, like in the 50 to 70% range. And the platinum is like 4 to 5%. And when I looked, the 3-body problem one wasn't the rarest one. It was actually the one where you just leave by yourself. Because I think with how the game is written, you don't want to not babysit Mina, because she's adorable, and like the whole storyline is just like, these are just 2 good people trying to make their way in a terrible place. So like, I don't think I would have found that ending by myself had I not looked up those trophies and realized, I have to do this and not do this and kind of do this and do that. So thankfully there are some really good achievement trophy guides out there. Big shout outs to them. All right, but that's all I'm playing. Let's take a break.
I gotta pop out for just a quick second.
Okay.
I gotta run the bathroom.
Okay. I'm gonna do the same just to close my door, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. My family is back on the way, so I have to close up the house here. Speaking of closing, let's close all these tabs. Get everything all ready here to talk about releases. I should actually check news stories here real quick, just to make sure there isn't any late breaking news. What do we got here? Video games. 100 news stories. I haven't checked anything in a while. Elden Ring. Lots of Elden Ring. Something about Yu-Gi-Oh! My daughter is texting me. Text her back. Guilty Gear. X-Men 97 didn't redeem Cyclops. He's always been this cool. Sorry, man, I can't follow you there. Fairware says Ubisoft launched a gameplay trailer for AC Shadows today. Oh. Let's check that out. Where's the new footage? Extended gameplay trailer. Let's put that on screen. Boop. Welcome back.
Hey.
I love YouTube. Like, they can't just stop shit talking for literally 5 minutes. This is an Assassin's Creed Shadows extended gameplay walkthrough. The top comment: I have a feeling that Ghost of Tsushima will still be the best samurai game ever. Shut up. Start a podcast about it.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, it is a good game, but...
Yeah, but, like, we don't need 2 bad bitches to be competing with each other.
It was like... people were throwing a fit. Some people, not everybody, was throwing a fit that CD Projekt Red had basically done like their little art style because Shadow of the was it Erdtree for Elden Ring that came out this past Friday had surpassed Blood and Wine from The Witcher 3 as being the all-time best-selling DLC within a day of its release.
Yeah, that cool that like artwork they did about like Geralt is
and it's always the cool dumb stuff that you want to see between companies.
Right.
Like, hey, congratulations for hitting this milestone,
like passing
kind of thing.
Torch. It's like what we see with a lot of Sony studios, where it's like Ratchet and Clank is giving props to Nathan Drake because the one game did really well.
Or like the whole thing with like God of War and Horizon.
Yes.
When they came out, and we had like the mixed art with that, and always the stupid thing with Doom Guy and Isabelle from Animal Crossing,
right.
like that weird mix. But there was like a lot of people where it was like everyone's like, oh well, Elden Ring is such a garbage game, blah blah blah, and it's like, guys, like you don't have to love every game, but you also don't have to sit there and down like everything that just because you don't like it, it's fine.
It doesn't need to be a competition. Like it'll be fine.
Heaven forbid somebody enjoys something.
Right. Not the thing I love, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one's allowed to enjoy that except for you.
Exactly. It's my favorite thing in the world. Only I can play it.
Yeah. I played it before the rest of you did.
That's right. I love it, so nobody else can have it.
Yeah. So go back to gatekeeping in your mom's basement. Who cares?
That's right. All right. Are you guys ready? Wrap this up.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of June 24th, 2024. Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, Switch, and PC. As far as I can tell, it's largely this game again for the 4th time. Just this time it's in 4K 60 frames. So if you haven't played it by now, you probably aren't going to, and that's fine.
Yeah, and still no word on the second game.
That's never coming out, man.
Yeah, that we've all just assumed is dead.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said like, boy, it'd be really funny if this game had like a tie-in to Beyond Good and Evil 2, and I'm like, even if they did, the second one's still not coming out. Yeah. It's just not gonna. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. I feel badly. Sort of.
Whatever.
Yeah. Next game here, Graven, comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series consoles. This is a first-person shooter that sort of reminds me of like Hexen and Heretic from the kind of mid-90s, where it's this magic-based, also like weapon-based sort of thing. Came out on PC, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. It's finally coming out on consoles here, and I don't know. It looks kind of cool. It looks like I feel like we don't always get these kind of classic shooters that aren't just like, well, here's a shotgun and here's a machine gun and it's a plasma thing. So we get some sort of magic here. The IGDB says it's also a little bit of an immersive sim too, so I'm not couldn't really find too much about that. I wonder if it's just more of like you can kind of choose your path through these environments. So I'm not sure about that, but people seem to like it well enough when it came out. So it's cool. I'm glad it's coming out to console here. That's Graven. Next game we have here, Until Then, comes out on PS5 and PC. This is a me game. It's really kind of like a story-based, character-based, probably sad character study sort of thing. This is the developers say it's inspired by their life in Philippines, lifestyle and culture, which I think is interesting because I'm happy we're seeing more games from the experiences of the people making them instead of like, hello, my name is John and I live in Connecticut. Sorry to all the Johns that live in Connecticut. But like, it's nice to see we're getting, like, we really loved Venba last year, which is a very personal story from the developers. Like, I really want to see more games like this, and it's really cool to see more stuff like this. So, wish it was coming out on more consoles, but maybe someday. I've sort of assumed that this is a small team because I feel like either it's a Ubisoft game or it's two people making a game in 2024. Yeah. So assumption is probably pretty safe. So I'll put that on my giant list of games that came out this year that look incredible and I have no time or money to play. So
2024, the year of the indie.
Yeah, man, it's been so good. Gosh. So that's until then. If you haven't seen a trailer for this, you should go watch that. The animation and the pixel art style on this is really, really cool. Looks pretty unique. Next game here, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD comes out on Switch. They're putting this one out on the Switch. Looks pretty good. Looks like it runs pretty well. Excuse me. I never played this one when it came out. I think I played 3 on the DS or the 3DS.
3 was the Switch, dude.
Man, which one did I... Or was that the Wii U? There was one I played...
This one was the Wii U, right?
Man, I don't know. I played one of them at some point and played a bunch, and I said, boy, this one's really good, and then did not finish it at all. So that's more on me than on the mansion itself. So hopefully this one does well. These games are cool. I wish I could get all the way through them someday. Next game here, Neo Sprint. That's all one word. Comes out on PS4, PS5, series consoles, Switch, and PC. This is a new / reimagined / revisited sprint game from the Atari 2600 or 5200. It's really like a fixed perspective isometric racing, like kart racing game.
People of our age know exactly what this looks like.
Yeah. Like kind of like RC Pro-Am, kind of like the arcade machine.
If you're European, it's the Micro Machines perspective, except no cool giant dice.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very much that sort of thing. This looks pretty neat. I know people really loved the Square Enix published one recently, the go-kart racing one. Champion something, I don't remember.
Chocobo Racing?
Yeah, exactly, that one. They published one sorry, Circuit Superstars. That was the one.
Also, my apologies, Boston.
Yes.
Luigi's Mansion was 01 in the GameCube, 18 to the 3DS. Dark Moon was 2013 for the 3DS and 2024 for the Switch.
Okay, Dark Moon I think is the one I played. Which
is this one.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, but like Circuit Superstars came out that people seem to really like, so it seems like this is a burgeoning market at the moment. I do know that this game has a track creator and like a section where you can create other creators' tracks. So that's pretty cool. I think that could maybe separate this game out. So that's Neo Sprint. Next game here we have Chia is coming out on the Switch. I think this was on everything else as of last year, and this is this is just coming out on the Switch here now. So people seem to really love this game. I haven't gotten around to it. This is kind of like the island adventuring, kind of kid focused exploration game. People seem to like it. So I myself will play a short hike because that game's cool. But people seem to really like this. And we have 2 games coming to Game Pass this week that I could see: SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Dig 2. So I played SteamWorld Dig and liked it, and I played a little bit of SteamWorld Dig 2, and that seemed pretty great too. So go check those out. News story we have this week, Nintendo Direct, that happened this week. Usually we don't talk about these because they aren't hot bangers from back to back like this one was. Which, if this is how the Switch is going to go out, that's pretty okay. So, yeah. We're only going to talk about the highlights here. There were, I don't know how many games in this showcase here that were all really great. They opened with Mario and Luigi Brothership, which is a new entry in the Mario and Luigi RPG series. This looks really good. This is coming out in November of this year. I don't know the last time I played one of these, but man, this game looks super cool. Incredible animations, really cool looking, especially like back and forth attacks between the two brothers. So, I don't know, man. That looks pretty great. Nintendo, unfortunately, is also doing that thing again where they won't tell anyone who's making this game. So,
yep,
it looks cool. I don't know who's making it. I don't know why that's like a state secret at this point. But who knows? But Mario and Luigi Brothership looks pretty cool. Next game up here, let me find it here. Fantasian Neo Dimension comes out winter of 2024. If this game sounds familiar, it was stuck on Apple Arcade for a really long time until it just got delisted recently. So Square Enix is doing kind of a new, slightly higher res version of this game. This was made by Sakaguchi, who made the original Final Fantasy games, and Nobuo Uematsu, who's the composer of like almost all of the Final Fantasy games. They made these. People said it was really great, and it was sort of unfortunate that it was stuck on Apple Arcade for so long. I'm really excited to play this. I haven't played this yet because I didn't want to play this on my phone. I'm also excited for this to be on a more consoles because if anyone remembers, they made all the backgrounds physically as dioramas. So it's,
that's this game.
Yeah, that's this game. So like I'm excited to see this in higher res because from what I'm seeing, it's coming out on everything. So I'm excited to play this and check this out and see it in high res. So that's Fantasian Neo Dimension coming out this winter. Next game here, all the way here, is Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake, which is a very elegant title. That comes out November 14th of this year. This looks really good.
Dude, it looks great.
It looks... I have not played...
Did you see the collector's edition for this?
No. Probably.
Oh my god, man.
My eyes have probably slid past it just to save myself. But... Yeah, my only bummer about this is I haven't played 1, 2, or 3, and they did announce at the same time that there's a 1 and 2 HD remake. Yeah, 1 and 2
like
HD.
Like the 2.5 HD.
Yeah,
whatever.
the HD 2D. They're making 1 and 2, but those won't be out until next year.
Yeah.
So, which is fine, but I sort of wish there was a cool way. I didn't really like the versions they put out on Switch because the pixel art was all weird. There's something weird about it. So I kind of wish there was a way to like start with 1 and then go to 2 and 3. I do. If anyone hasn't seen the incredible art they made for the 2 cover arts to 1 and 2 and 3 next to each other, looks so good. My gosh. Like I know a lot of people were worried after Toriyama passed about like how is this stuff going to be sort of depicted, and it was interesting to hear Square Enix come out this week and sort of be like, yeah man, he's not around anymore, so we're gonna make art for it. Like I don't know what you expect us to do. A bunch of people are saying like, oh, get his apprentice to work on it, and they're like, he's busy with other stuff, man. Like shut up. Stop being weird about it, man. So I'm excited for those because Dragon Quest III is supposed to be really great, and I've only played a couple Dragon Quest games and I have liked them a whole lot. So I'm excited to check these out. Next up here, let me skip past some of these. Next up is Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero, which I wasn't super interested in because I thought, oh, they're going to port Phantom Brave again, which is a NIS PS2 Disgaea that was fine.
It was a lot of fun.
You don't say the D word in front of him.
Well, I'm trying to give...
I know this game.
Yeah, I'm trying to give some flavor to it because it's... The first one was okay. I kind of see what they were going for, but I never really dug it.
The system was kind of hard to wrap your head around
Yeah.
for a long while.
It was oddly complicated in a way that just kind of didn't feel great. So I thought, oh, well, they're just going to port this to the Switch. I thought they did it before, but whatever, maybe it didn't. No, they're just making a sequel to Phantom Brave, of all things. So I'm very surprised at that. This must have done very well, or somebody at NIS really loves this game. I'm not entirely sure, but we're getting another one of those, which is fairly wild. So that is coming out sometime next year. A rather large announcement here of Marvel vs. What is the specific? Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics is coming out sometime this year. It has a whole bunch of games.
For a Berserker Rush.
Yeah, like it has a whole bunch of games in here. I don't really care. It has a Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and they made a bunch of Take You for a Ride jokes. I think that's incredible. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is really great. I don't know how many hundreds of hours I spent in college playing this on Dreamcast. We unlocked everything on that version, which is legitimately wild. They're adding a whole bunch of stuff in here, like they're adding a training mode, they're adding a bunch of online multiplayer stuff. I don't know if it's rollback netcode or not. I don't think I've seen. And there's a bunch of cool games in here that aren't Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But come on, that's the big selling point here. So I might recommend, if you're interested in this one, maybe pick up a physical version of this that's going to be coming out in the States, because I could see this in a year or two just being like, oh, hey, by the way, it's getting delisted tomorrow. Ha Marvel licensing, am I right? So, you know, if there's one to pick up physically, it might be this guy. So keep that in mind. Next up here is The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which is the brand new Zelda game where...
I don't know about you guys, but this should really be called The Legend of Link.
Got him.
Dude, yeah, it definitely should have been.
I like them still calling it Legend of Zelda and just being like, no, you actually play as her this time. Because the big thing is, hey, you're playing as Zelda this time, and she has a cool magic staff where you get to duplicate a bunch of stuff, and it has the art style of the Link's Awakening remake that they did on Switch. And it looks like it's maybe as open world as Link's Awakening is, but
it looks like you might be able to break it in a weird way, considering everything you can copy.
Yeah, hopefully. You got that. You got that good Tears of the Kingdom business.
Yeah,
just break this thing wide open. This looks really cool. I really like that they didn't give Zelda a sword and a shield. I like that she has her own thing, so it's not just like, oh, it's a palette swap between the two of them or anything. I really like that she has her own thing here. So I'm really excited to play this, because I like this art style and I like these games, and I'm curious to check this out when it comes out. Where is it in
Next
this
year,
list?
I think it was?
September 26th of this year. So,
okay.
Happily doing the Nintendo thing about being like, hey, we've been working on this, and it's out in like 2 months. It's like, yeah, perfect. Thank you. 2 thumbs up.
I'm also really enjoying all the wrestling memes that are coming out of like Zelda with the chair from the back corner.
The fan art for this game has been really, really great. Like Link trapped in a crystal and she's building an IKEA table. Like it's really it's some really good stuff. Next game here, Ace Attorney Investigations. Where the hell is this in the list? Investigations Collection. I'm sorry. The big thing here, this is coming out in September. The big thing here is they're remastering the second Edgeworth game that came out on the DS that never came out over here. Okay. I was fairly sure they were never going to do this because it just didn't seem like it was a thing that was ever going to happen. And what's super exciting at this point is that all of these games are going to be available at least on the Switch, if not on all platforms. Which is great. They're doing the exact same thing we've been begging a lot of these publishers and developers to do, of just like, hey, you don't have to do a lot to these games. Just put them on a platform, even just like put them on a collection and just kind of keep rolling them forward here and make them playable for people. So that's pretty cool. Good job, Capcom. Thumbs up. Next game here, the 100-line Last Defense Academy is coming out early next year. This is the dude that made the Danganronpa games. And he's just making another one of those, but doesn't have the rights anymore after Danganronpa V3. So he's literally just making another one of these in all but name. Even down to like how the characters look and where the game takes place. So that's pretty wild. I'll probably check
legally
this out.
Distinct Danganronpa.
Yeah, I mean, but barely legally distinct. It's pretty wild. So I don't know, man. Good on him for finding a way to do it, but we'll see here. That's 100-line The Last Defense Academy, which is also another really great title. Next game here, Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven, comes out October 24th, 2024. They're doing a full remake of Romancing Saga 2, which is another one that I really didn't think would ever happen. This is one of those kind of like lost Super Famicom games that I would have sworn would never come out over here, even in its original form, and now they're just going to do a full, complete remake of this game. I really do like how they have to explain what a saga game is on all of these, of like, hey man, if you use skills, then you learn other skills, so, that's how you learn stuff, and like, there's a timeline at the top of the screen, that's how you figure out where people move, and it's like, oh boy, yeah, I mean, that's only scratching the surface of the saga games, so, who really knows? So, I'm excited for this, because I haven't played this, and it's supposed to be really good, so. And last but not least, very last one here, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond comes out next year. Samus's ship looks like her helmet now. What are we humming about?
I'll believe it when I play it.
I mean, you are right to be cautiously optimistic about these games. So, yeah. I don't like. I'm excited for it because I think the Metroid Prime games are cool. I don't remember the last time I played 2. I don't think I played 3. I didn't play any of the DS ones. So, like, people freaking out about that dude that shows up at the end from, I think it was Hunters. I'm just like, yeah, man, sure. Is that a bad Samus? No, okay, not really. Sure, okay. But I hope this comes out, and I hope it's good, because the Prime games are really great. And I would like to see more of them, and I would like to actually see this game come out, and let the developers that are working on it work on anything else. Free them from their Metroid Prime purgatory. But we'll see. All they have is...
I also hope, too, that we eventually get the other 2 as remakes as well. Because the first remake, my son was playing it for Metroid Prime 1 on the Switch.
Oh, yeah, right.
And that looks pretty good.
Right.
So I hope they do eventually get to the other 2 as well.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever will, because it seemed to me that remake / remaster of that first one was more work than they were anticipating it to be. So I'm wondering if the juice is worth the squeeze for the other two, because I think they have them on Switch as part of that trilogy. I think.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're like, well, the other two are fine, so be okay with those. But I don't know. We'll see. So hopefully Prime 4 will come out at some point here. Fingers crossed. All right. That's our episode for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page over there. Don't forget to hit us up, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
Thank you. $5 a month tier is the recommended one. That's fun for a $5. It's per month, not per episode. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. You can help us over by liking, commenting, and subscribing over on the YouTube channel. That helps us a ton. I was gonna say follow us on social media. You probably shouldn't. Just get off social media. It's for the best for everybody. Rate wherever you can. Rate us 5 stars or 10 hamburgers or 3 thumbs up or whatever you can. Whatever the max is, hit us up over there. That genuinely does really help us out a lot. All right, this is another 5-star runtime episode we've had. So let's get out of here. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 All right, Nymph. Before my voice gives out, what are your titles?
I have pick up a thing, throw a thing, move on. I have a blue mage, so I don't have a problem. Friendly fire is on. Bunch of thugs called Carl. And not what I come to Streets of Rage 4 for.
Moon, what do you have?
I had not what I come to Streets of Rage 4 for.
Not what I come to Streets of Rage 4 for. I have the only commander I know is Shepherd. Everything is a multiverse these days. Friendly fire is on, and not what I come to Streets of Rage 4 for. I feel like it's probably that last one.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
I'll circle it.
And I'm ready.
Yes.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 870 for June 24th, 2024. Not what I come to Streets of Rage 4 for.
I'd rather go to 4 Far in Scotland.
Quadrupling your fun by the power of 4.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it, as always. We'll see you all next week. Bye.